So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzomos, and welcome you to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If it's your first time here and narcissism resonates with you, I encourage you to join us. Like the page, share with your friends, subscribe. And for those that have always been with me, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. So actually this morning, I saw a very interesting picture from Aware Hafiz. Shouts out to you. I saw one of the pictures he posted on his page. The time of his wedding day, and as he mentioned, as he stated in that picture, it's like he could have been discarded for a couple of hours on the actual wedding day. Now that picture brought me back as well to the memories of my wedding. Actually, this is even has motivated this video for today, because I remembered those days when I was getting married to the narcissist. So I remember particularly, I was sitting down somewhere. That was on the actual wedding day. So I was just sitting down somewhere, and I was thinking, okay, so I had already seen these patterns, these unexplainable patterns in this partnership, and I was really thinking that this thing wasn't good for me. So I was asking myself a lot of questions. Am I even going into the right thing? Am I ready for this? Do I want to walk this journey? Do I want to really be with this person? Because most of those things I had seen, they had already confirmed to me that I wasn't really into. It's like I was kind of like getting the confirmation, but I was fighting with it. I was thinking in my mind, this thing is not right. We shouldn't do it. This shouldn't happen. Maybe we should wait a little bit. But believe me, at that point, people, for the most of you who are on these platforms, most of you have been married to these individuals, or even sometimes you have been with them in a very long-term relationship. But at that point, it was already too late. It was already too late. I just had to go on with the plans. I just had to go on with the procedures, and there was no going back. And then I remembered as well, how quickly was it for me, or how quickly and how easy was it for me actually to start this partnership, like we're talking about, on a permanent basis? How quickly how quickly and how easy was it easy for me to get enticed with this kind of individual? I was thinking a lot of things in that time, and the only thing what I know with this kind of individuals, the very moment you meet them, it does not matter. You can even meet them today, and within a week or two, they're already going to start scheduling a wedding. The nurses will always tell you, they will start making wedding plans on the very first day you meet them. They will tell you, okay, so we are going to get married in a few weeks. We are going to get married next week. We are going to get married next month. They can even get married straight away. If it's possible for them, they can get married straight away on that same day if they can. Although it has rarely happened, but they can do that. They have the ability to do that. So one thing you have to understand, guys, for the most of you who have been with these narcissists, because I remember also another thing, even before I go into this, I remember also another incident that was at the end of our partnership. I remember, so we're having this argument. That was at the discard, during the discard. We're having this very, very long argument, because I was trying to gather all the pieces and to put the puzzles together. So I was putting the pieces together, and I was asking the narcissist, so do you really mean that this whole wedding, this whole marriage doesn't make any sense to you? So it's like, for whatever we've been through for all these years, I mean, like for how much fun, for how long we guys have been together, everything doesn't make sense to you anymore. Because believe me, people, in those days, I can guarantee you, the narcissist mask slipped all the way down. It slipped all the way down. There was nothing to hide. There were no reservations. I would hear everything point blank. The narcissist would stand in front of me and tell me things that I've never heard before. I would see that time the narcissist was doing things that I've never seen before. And that's the moment when I started asking myself the questions. How did I get into this kind of situation? How did I get married to this kind of a person? I was asking myself so many questions, and I asked the narcissist, so do you mean that all this time we've been married for all these years? We've been married for a very long period of time, a couple of years, 7 years for that matter. So nothing for you made sense. It's like all this thing was you just decided to, drop down the whole marriage and, just throw down the marriage in the trash and just carry on with your life with somebody new for that matter. Because in those days I was still struggling to get the closure. I hadn't yet gotten the closure. And for the most of you guys, if you haven't yet gotten closure with this from these individuals, it is very, very difficult to let them go. It's like you're trying to let go, but you can't. You do everything in your power to let go, but you can't. Because they haven't yet closed the case. They are just dumping you somewhere. They are moving on very quickly. They haven't yet told you what is going to happen, what is next, what exactly, why did I do that, why did I do this? There's no explanation whatsoever. They are just moving on to somebody else. And most of the cases, the empaths, you find yourself in a very, very desperate mode of wanting, of actually yearning to get closure from these individuals. So in those days, I had so many things. I had a lot of fabricated stories. I had a lot of things that I've never done before. Even sometimes the narcissist said that I said some things that I've even never said before in my life. So basically, there is one thing particularly the narcissist said. The narcissist said that I asked her about the marriage. I asked her, so do you mean like for all this time we've been together, this marriage doesn't make sense to you? It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything for you. What does this whole thing mean? And the narcissist said that, okay, this whole marriage was just on a piece of paper. This was just a piece of paper. We just go somewhere, we sign something on a piece of paper, and that's it. For them, the marriage is just a simple piece of paper and a little ring on the finger and a simple piece of paper. And then, the parties and the occasion and that's all it matters. That's all that matters for them. Emotionally, you are not connected with these individuals. It does not matter people how convincing it looks like you and these individuals. It does not matter how much you've been through people. I can guarantee you, if you have been married to these individuals, you do not matter. They are emotionally not connected with you. They will show that to you. They will show it to you. You will believe. You want to believe. Your soul will want to believe this marriage that is true. You want to believe. You want to fight it. But I can guarantee you, people, the narcissists, they know from the bottom of their mind, they know that this whole thing is a fake. In front of my face, the narcissist told me this whole marriage didn't mean anything. We were just married on a piece of paper. We just went somewhere and put down a couple of signatures and made a few photographs, and that was it. So it never meant anything. You can imagine you getting married to somebody for 7 years, and at the end of that partnership, they are telling you that the whole marriage never meant anything to them. Guys, what you need to understand in this video is these guys, they don't get married to you because they are very much in love with you. They are so into you. They are emotionally connected to you. They will show that in those days of the love bombing and everything. You will see everything looks like true, but deep inside they know that this whole thing is a fake. And for the marriage of the narcissist people, I can guarantee you, it is just a marriage. You're just going somewhere and signing papers, and everybody, you move in together. You pretend like you're having a family. You get kids together. You start going places and everything. But I can guarantee you, people, in the bottom mind of the narcissist, this whole thing doesn't make sense. This whole thing is an illusion. And it is a very, very hard pill to swallow. For an empath, for some of you who have been with these individuals, I can guarantee you, it is a very, very hard pill to swallow. It's almost unbelievable. When somebody stands in front of you and tells you that this whole marriage never meant anything, it's like somebody just tries to sink you to the ground. It's like you cannot even imagine, people, the efforts you've put. For the most of you, how you run around with these marriages, you preparing all these occasions, doing this, going from point A to point B, trying to put everything together to make the marriage a success. Everything you have ever done for that marriage to become a success, everything has been an illusion. The narcissist actually never gotten, at one point in time, emotionally connected to you. They have never even connected to you in whichever way. So most of the times, at the end of those partnerships, you are going to hear a lot of things. That's why I think that's why the biggest shocker comes from. For the most of the victims who have been discarded by the narcissist, that's why the biggest shocker comes from. When you've been married for those guys for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, I don't know, 30 years. Even some people have been married to them for 40 years. And in just one instant, they drop you somewhere. They actually will tell you in your face you never meant anything to them. And in that particular time, even sometime within 1 or 2 days, they've already moved into somebody new. That is one of the biggest shocker. I think that is what even activates the trauma bond. That is the feeling where you will know. People, I can guarantee you, I know that feeling. I know how it feels. That moment of the discard, that's when you are going to know the exact person you married, because that is when the mask is going to slip all the way down. And I can guarantee you it's not a good feeling. So these individuals, they do not have any emotional connection with you. It's like for them, they meet you somewhere and they just figure out, because they're watching you from a distance. They are coming in, you are a target. So as much as you are a target, the only thing they are coming in, they have already identified their target, you as a supply. They are coming in. They have already taken notice of what is it you've got to offer. It may be in form of money, it may be in form of finances. Maybe you're living in a very huge, beautiful house with a swimming pool. You may be driving a very nice, luxurious car. That is the only thing they are coming in for, people. I can guarantee you, if you're married to the narcissist, they are marrying you for the benefits. They are not marrying you because they are so in love with you. They are marrying you because they are coming in, they're picking up the benefits, and should at some point in time, the benefits, for example, they have sucked you dry of everything, whatever it is they came for. There's nothing much you guys got to offer for them. That is the moment they're just going to dump you and move in somebody else. They're going to look around for somebody else who has got uh, similar benefits, or even sometimes better benefits than you, and that's when they are going to cut the whole cords and just destroy the whole thing, put the whole thing to the ground, and speed off to somebody new. So most of those cases, it's very, very painful and very, very difficult to come to terms with. If somebody stands in your face and starts telling you that a marriage was just a marriage on a piece of paper, you just got married and signed a couple of documents, it doesn't. It really it's a really big shocker. This is why you know that this person, the person you married for that matter, they completely don't have empathy. And I think that is why most of the empaths, that is the point that has ignited their awakening, because most of the empaths who have been discarded, like I've said in my videos, most of the empaths, they're going to awaken, especially at the discard, because that's where you are intensively going to ask a lot of questions. You are going to try to find out exactly who is this person you've been involved with. That is when you're going to know that actually you have never really known these individuals. For as long as you've been with them, you never really knew them on a deep level. You never really knew who you were dating, for that matter. That is where you're going to see a complete monster in front of you. That's where you're going to see the beast mode of the individual you have actually been married to for a very long period of time. And usually it's a very big shocker and very heartbreaking, for that matter. So that's where the awakening will come in. So the awakening is going to come in. That's where I'm going to know, for some reason, there's something wrong. There's something extremely wrong, because in that time, I'm not a guy who likes to use this kind of obscene words or whatever, but the narcissists, when they meet the new source of supply people, I can guarantee you the mask is going to slip in front of you. You're going to see everything in front of your face, number one. And secondly, the narcissists, you will know that deeply they are extremely and hyper aroused. When they meet the new source of supply people, nothing matters to them. They are ready to throw down their pets. They are ready to leave their children behind. They are ready to leave whatever it is. They can leave everything behind. They can just pick up something few with a few items in their bags and run off with that person. If need be, they can do that. They have got the capability to do that. They get hyper aroused when they meet the new sources of supply. There's nothing you tell them that can matter. There's nothing you can talk. People, you can talk for 12 hours a day. They will sit down and they'll be looking somewhere on the television. They'll be pretending they're watching TV. You're talking to them. They're pretending to look somewhere else. They're not even listening what you're saying. At that moment, people, they're hyper aroused. The very moment the narcissist meets the new source of supply people, that's where the barbs are going to go on for you. That's where you're going to see the exact individual you've been married to for all these years. So you can be rest assured, people, marriage with a narcissist is an illusion. It is all a stage. For them, it's like a game. You just wake up in the morning and play some kind of a game. It's just because the game will not be played in the same vicinity. So it's like after your game, they will go and play another game in another vicinity. But the pattern is going to stay the same. So it's going to be the same game they're playing. They played with you, the same game they're going to play with somebody else, but in just another vicinity, another environment. And that's what it matters for them. That's what it is for them. It's just simply finding somebody there's something to offer, so they can move me from point A to point B. For example, me, when I made those individuals, the narcissists for that matter, I did a lot of things to make sure that this whole thing gets to some level, because I found the narcissist struggling a bit. She was really struggling, and I thought that, okay, so when I come in, I'm going to fix things. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix that. So I was just a fixer. I came in, I fixed the whole places. I moved the narcissist from that point position to another position, even a much more better position and much more better place. When she got to the better place, people, I can guarantee you that was the end of it. She closed the gates. She did the discard. Even the discard came through a message, for that matter. It was just a simple message. Out of the blue, I'm just sitting somewhere and I get a message on the phone. Okay, so we need to separate. That is it. I don't need this thing anymore. We have got to separate. Believe me, people, within 2 or 3 days, that is when the new supply kicked in. And for them, it does not matter, people. Like I've always said, the nurses, when they meet somebody new, you don't matter anymore. They just dump. They are ready to do whatever. They can take the risk. So for the most of you, be rest assured, if you have known the person who has been married, if you're lucky, you find this kind of videos online, you're looking for answers, I want you to take it very seriously. If you're involved with somebody you believe is a narcissist, I can guarantee you, if you're on the way to getting married, I can guarantee you it's not worth it. You had better reconsider your options and actually put a stop to this whole thing, because it is going to end up in disaster. And for the ones of you who have always been in that kind of situation, you have seen the way these guys have behaved at the end of the partnership. You can concur with me that that's the kind of act you've never seen before. It is the kind of stand that stand they will pull at the end of that partnership, the discard. It is a stand like no other you've never seen before. So it's all a game. It's all an illusion, and for them it's just as simple as coming in a room, putting a ring on your finger, putting a ring on their finger, signing a couple of documents, and you guys are out of there, and they have secured you as a source of supply. And then that's when the abuse is going to kick in, because at that moment they have completely secured you. You are the source of supply. You are the main primary source of supply. So they are going to start sucking you dry. And as the moment they know there's nothing much to offer, that's the end of it. That's when they are going to be ready to discard you. And that is when most of the empaths you've seen, the mask has slipped all the way down. And that being said, guys, if you can relate to this kind of video, if you might have been married to a narcissist, you might have seen all these things I'm talking about, I would like to know in the comment section below what you think about this. Other than that, people, it's been a lovely day to have you guys on board. And shouts out to Aware Hafiz for that picture you posted this morning. It made more sense actually, and brought back a lot of memories. It has also motivated this video. So guys, much love and blessings. Desmo signing out, and I'll catch you soon.